Okay. Hello, everyone. We are here with our, recent evictee from BB Disney All-Star, Sierra. Sierra, well, first of all, I have to say it. Congratulations on being engaged. Woohoo,
Yeah,
yay.
thanks.
You're welcome. People are still saying it in the house no matter what. So you still live on. So how are you feeling? How are you today?
Good. I'm feeling good. Glad to know that I have like a legacy in the house. That's great.
You do. You are still being talked about and in all good ways. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I know you've been so um I know you were evicted few rounds ago, but how are you feeling? Was it a big relief when you left? Was it still a lot? 'Cause you still made it within like 20-ish days. So I
Um,
mean that's a long time for me and playing in a game. So
right. Um, yeah, I mean, towards the end, like I honestly was just getting it's a lot to sit on the block every week, and felt like a lot. Um,
mhm.
so I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about it. Like I'm happy that I made it to jury because I'm happy to like still be part of the game, but it definitely towards the end definitely like weighed on me, I think.
Yeah. I know it's like I don't know how sometimes people it's because we're in day 30 and it's like it takes a big toll on you. I feel like when you get evicted, it's like you have to like adjust being out of the game.
Mhm.
The vote was 6-1. You did get one vote not against you. Do you know who that person was?
I'm pretty sure it's Jen.
Done. Yeah. And cool. So was there when you were up that round and you even said you found out that you were going, was there anyone that you were surprised about like voting you out? Was there at one point you were like, oh, I think I'm gonna have this person's vote and this one it just didn't happen?
No, everybody stopped answering me that week, and like that's just kind of how
Mhm.
I knew it was time to go. Like everybody just like stopped answering my messages. There have been a couple of times that I was on the block previous to that where people were messaging me. Um, but then like right before the vote would hit, would say like, "Hey, I just want you to know like you're probably going here," and I kept not going there.
Yeah.
And so when people just stopped answering me altogether, I knew it was like a group consensus and it was no longer like a split vote. It was everybody knew that they were going to take me out.
Yeah. I did realize I forgot to ask. I have asked every single person this question first. I'm gonna go back to this question. What do you think happened? Like, why do you think you're here with that? Why did you think you were evicted that round?
I think that I was like an easy vote to get out. I think that in games in general, I get pit as like inactive or a pawn, which is something I said in like one of my early like vote to keep me speeches. I get pit as like inactive, and this time I wasn't, which is why it was so frustrating to me. Like I know that I wasn't able to be on as much as other people, but like um I just like have a job where I can't text every like all day, and like but when I could I was, do you know what I mean? But I think that people
Mm,
just didn't didn't build that bond with me because of that reputation of like being inactive. And I don't know how to overcome that because like I said, literally I every moment that I was available, like I did come, and I'm incredibly frustrated that I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And so I think that there were a lot of other like stronger bonds that were built,
mhm.
and I think I just got left out of them. I mean, I wasn't in a single alliance, and so I knew I wasn't going to make it to the end. I was curious about how long I could kind of like cockroach my way through. um, but I knew once it started to get down to like the groups that were like working together that I was gonna go because I was an easier
Mhm.
vote and people didn't have to think about it. I'm actually surprised um I didn't go on like a live night because I figured I would be an easy vote to do that. So.
Um, well, let's talk about that because you said about you being a pawn, right? So why do you think? Because people are always saying, "Oh, big moves, and you got to take out the big players," and not saying that you're not a big player, but you were given this like pawn title, and why do you think they'd all decided to like? Why do you think that no one wanted to like grab onto you? Because like you did say you were in no alliances, so like why do you think people are so worried about everyone else? Like why do you think they didn't try to grab you?
I don't know. So I don't know if it's because like people thought that I was like inactive, so they didn't want to like reach out to
Mhm.
me, or they like didn't want to try, um, or what it was. But like no matter like when I was trying to get people to talk about game with me, they were like not. I don't know. I just like wasn't getting dragged into those conversations, no matter how hard I would like try or how hard I would push. Um, and even like towards the end, I literally was saying to people, I'm like, I am like an open book. Like I like need somebody to work with. I'm willing to like really do what I can do kind of thing. And the only person who I feel like really took me seriously in that is Jen. And I think Cody and I were getting there, but I think it was just too late by the time Cody and I started talking.
Yeah. And like, was that your strategy? Like being like very kind. I don't want to keep saying a pawn because I do think that's, and I don't think a pawn is even a bad thing. Because I always say if you're doing something, if you're not getting evicted, you're doing something right. But was that your strategy, kind of to stay low and see if people will kind of like gravitate towards you?
Well, I think like the first couple of rounds, like the first like two rounds, I was trying to stay low because I was trying to get like a vibe of what was going on. And then I really
Mhm.
started to panic when I realized there was like other stuff going on. And that there were like definitely alliances forming. And like I I don't know. I was just like there was a point where it was no longer a strategy and I just kind of got like I don't know. I don't know if I just like didn't grab into it in time or like if somebody or if like I just missed the wave pretty much. So then at that point my strategy was just to roll with it and the fact that nobody did want to form like a long-term alliance with me and just figure out like how to really go with like more of a voting block than an alliance and just try to see like if I could um make my way through. And I did relatively okay until it was my turn to go. Like I was really in the majority. I think with all of my votes, I think I was in a majority. And that was just like me voting what was best for like my game, who gave me like the heebie-jeebies, who I was like nervous about. Um, so I think I did like relatively okay for like having just one number versus like a bunch of people that had like essentially like six or seven numbers. So I am proud about that, that I made it a lot further than I thought I would with absolutely zero alliances.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. I mean, you made it to jury, 12 out of 20 is not too shabby.
Mm,
But you talk about you voting majority in all your votes, which I want to say is very true. So let's talk about that because one of my favorite things to talk about, even though it was so early, were these two split votes in the beginning of the game.
mhm.
And I will say, in a prod standpoint, I know a big question was, well, where's Sarah at? Because we didn't see you in any alliances, but we saw you vote for Justin, which wasn't the majority. So how, like I said, I don't know how much you want to talk about round one, but I'm interested in round one still. So it's like, why'd you vote for Justin? Were you approached by people? Was it just like you were closer to Lake? What was, because we really never still got to see where you were in that round. Like, how did you, because like everyone's vote was so important that round. Um, so if you can talk about that round, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I don't really know Justin like as a person like either outside or inside of the game.
Mhm.
And I don't really know Lake. Like I know a little bit, but not like a whole lot. So both of them were kind of like in the same position in term for me, like going into it. Um, again, like I would try to talk with Justin, and I felt like he wasn't talking to me, and that meant to me that he was talking to somebody else, if that makes sense, especially because it was a a split vote. Like normally I think that the vibe is like when people are like an inactive vote, it's usually pretty unanimous. But when I started asking around and it wasn't like 100% one way or another, it made me feel like Justin was talking to some people. It just wasn't me. And so I understand that I didn't reach out to him, but like he also did not reach out to me except for 24 hours before like the final vote. Um, and that just like didn't sit right to me. Like Lake reached out to me and gave like a plea. Um, and I at least knew that like in Lake's mind that I was a potential person to keep talking to. In Justin's mind, he didn't need me, and that made me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean definitely it was that I mean, I don't know, like I said, who wants to talk about round one? But that round was still so exciting.
Mhm.
In my eyes. So yeah, thank you for like telling us about it. And then also let's talk about the other split vote, which you were nominated for. I know you brought it up earlier. Like you were told you were going. You were told
I
like I
was shocked when I stayed, like
oh
shocked,
so
shocked.
did you think you were going when we were announcing the vote? Oh really? You thought you didn't think you were staying?
Mm-mm,
Oh,
not at
okay.
all. I really thought
Um,
I was going.
Oh, okay. So I don't think I knew that. I don't know if you, yeah, I don't know if I knew that, but I mean, of course, like I kind of knew you were saying, just from my perspective, obviously that I was watching. But okay, so like, do you know what was happening that round? Did you like? Okay, I guess you didn't if you thought you were going, but like, uh, but yeah. So why do you think you stayed over, Brian? I guess or like, was there people that you didn't think were going to keep you that did, or you were just going based on? Because I know Marcelo told you that you were going, or were you just going based on those few people that thought you were going?
So I was told by um Robert Toria, um Marcelo, Keaton, and somebody else that I was going. Like they messaged me right before the vote and they were like, "Hey, just so you know, like you're going home." Um and I was mad. I was really mad because that was I don't know. I like don't want to be like that bitch, but like I was really mad because that was the week that like I got engaged and like in the midst of all of that stuff happening and like this real like personal life event that like was real life and I could have very easily like dropped this game and just have like focused on something that was like a really big moment for me. I like still put time and effort into it. Like literally the day it happened, I still participated in the veto. Like I literally left celebrating with my fiance to like go upstairs into a hotel room to play
Mhm.
the game. And like I don't know what else I could have done to show that I was serious about the game. And the narrative, again, that was being passed about me was the fact that I was inactive. And that, I mean, pardon my language, but like that to me was bullshit. And it really pissed me off. And so when I got and I tried as hard as I could between like calling my whole family and like whatever else, like doing like real life stuff, I still was messaging every single person that I needed to message to like talk about this game. And I still put it as a priority. And so to be messaged like 15 minutes before the vote and just been like, sorry, there's nothing else you can do. People are spreading that you're inactive really irritated me. And that's why like I gave kind of a sassy speech, I feel like. And I think the sassy speech is what worked. So
Mhm.
I don't
Well, we appreciated your activity. I actually just found out right now that you were engaged. I had no idea. So
you never know.
yeah, but yes, but thank you, of course. I know. I couldn't even imagine like trying to celebrate something and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna go play Power of Veto.
But you
I
never
will still.
right. Sorry, go ahead. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying I will never forget that challenge where you got like one match and then you got that really bad card and then you got like minus 14 points. Cause like
I
I'm not
know.
gonna lie, like this is shading my own like hosting ability, but I did not Timmy made it and I didn't know the points. And all of a sudden he was like, Sarah, minus 14 or whatever it was. I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that. Like I know we were like
Yeah, it's
yeah.
such a Sierra thing to happen. Like I'm terrible at challenges and like anytime that I do like kind of okay or something like I'm terrible at challenges in general. And like I just once I had the one match, I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know if it was like the like my bad memory or if it was like where I was in like the
Or like the
lineup that was
order, I
just
think
like
the order
not for me.
really yeah, the order I think I mean I'm not saying the order was like the factor, but the order definitely did with people too. And when you're nervous and stuff like that, you think your memory is better than or I think people's memories are usually better, but like when you're playing that nervous game and stuff like that, you never know. And there was like
Right.
what 8 of you playing, so it's like by the time I got back to your turn, you probably didn't remember what was up, what was going on.
Yeah,
Um,
and I was just in general, I feel like I was just distracted. So
yeah,
like it just wasn't
yeah,
for me. But
yeah.
but
So
yeah.
if you would have, yeah. So if you would have stayed in the game, who was your closer allies? Because like I said, who would we have seen you trying to be attached with the closest?
I really wanted to try to pull something together with like the people who felt like they were in the outside and from my
Mm.
perspective or people that were like riding the block week after week. Um And to my perspective, that was like Jen, it was Cody. I thought Jill, but Jill's still in the game. So I mean, she might be doing better than I had perceived she was. But that was somebody else who I felt like felt frustration. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of what my last like grab at things were going, and I feel like I was doing a pretty decent job at trying to pull us all together.
Mm.
I wanted to try to get like to talk with Karen a little bit more, even though like they weren't really on the block or anything. But I don't know. I just wanted to try to like get at people's like frustration, I think is the word I wanted to use. In the fact that they just the same people were just sitting on the block. It just felt very boring to me. And I was really over it because I felt like I was putting in towards the end just enough effort to stay. And like that was it. Then I would just knew I was going to go on the block the next round. And like um, people like burning their powers on me and stuff. It just was boring. It just was not a fan.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think. I can't. Okay, yeah, because we forgot to talk about Club 33. So you used, yeah, because you used your power on. That was the round you used it on Rose, and then she won the veto. Why also did you put up Rose? Was that what strategy was that for?
There were a couple of times that Rose had insinuated that like she was going to I don't know, like do something that would benefit me or like um I don't know, like with the veto that she had won when I was up the first time. I just like insinuated that there was a chance that she would use it on me and then wouldn't, which is fine because like it's her power, but it just like skeeved me out a little bit. Again, it made me feel like everybody was getting told the same information and like I don't know. It just was an easy nomination for me, I think.
Yeah. Hmm, fair.
But nothing against
So let's.
Rose, but I just felt like it wasn't my number, so
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
right.
Okay, so let's talk about the jury. You're the second member of the jury, but we have seen people come in after your departure. So like I am a person who doesn't really believe in bitter jurors. You know, you could vote however you want. If you like a person, don't like a person, if you like the way they dress, vote however you want. So what is your thought about the jury? Like I know you've been able to watch a little bit and see a little bit. How are you voting as a juror?
For me personally, I don't know. I don't think that it's bitterness, but it definitely is a little bit of frustration because again, I feel like this power had such great potential. Um, and I don't know if everybody used it the right way or if a lot of people are playing very safe. And so for me, I want to hear about like how people played a not safe game or how people like weren't playing like a I don't know, like a predictable game. Like I said, I think there are a lot of people. I'm curious to see what the final counts are about like who spends time on the block, how many weeks people spend on the block, like how many actual nominees were there. And if somebody was like willing to take a bigger move or like a bigger shot and not play the scared move of just nominating somebody who's already sat on the block 4 times, who's already sat on the block like 2 times and was like a HOH nominee twice.
Mhm.
Like it's I don't
Yeah.
know. I need somebody to like convince me that it was like an all-star game and not oh put a pawn on the block every week. So
I love that actually, convincing that it was an all-star game. I'm
yeah.
gonna quote that. Okay. So let's do a little speed round of questions where you can either just you can give me a reasoning, or you could just answer the person's name that I'm about to ask you. It's a little different because you were out a few rounds ago, but who do you think is gonna be the next person evicted? I already know you know the nominees and stuff, but who do you think it's gonna be?
Can you remind me who the nominees are? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So I don't it's Robert Toria or Jen. One of them is visiting you today.
Um, um, I think Robertoria.
Okay. And let's pretend that you just got evicted, so we you don't know who's nominated. So who would you like to see out of the 6 people, 7 people left? Who do you want to see be the next person out?
Hmm. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. Do I have to answer it?
Okay. I mean, I think that question is fine, but if you don't want to answer it, I can't force you.
I don't know.
It's funny, everyone else was so happy and easy to answer that question.
I know, but I I don't know. I guess I don't know. Mm,
You don't
I
have to
don't know.
answer it.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think I want to answer it. Sorry, I know you said
Someone
rapid
think
fire questions. I'm like, I don't know.
I guess you're being nice and I can't fault you for that. So, who do you think who do you want to see win this game?
I would like to see Jen or Jill win just because they've been in danger a lot, so I feel like it would be good to see them be able to pull it off.
Okay. And then who do you think will win the game? Who do you think is playing the best game? Who do you think is getting there? All that fun stuff.
I think it's gonna come down to either honestly probably Keaton or Jeremy, I think.
Ian and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Awesome. And my last question, I would like to ask, how was your BB Disney experience? What are you taking from all of this?
It was great. I I think that I am taking from this that it's a really good way, I think, to make a lot of really good friends. Like I can see that there's a lot of friendships in the game. Like there's a lot of friendships like that I've made, a lot of people that I've like started to like see more regularly and things like that. And so I'm just like thankful that it is such a good way to meet people that otherwise I would never have met that are very we're just like very great people in my life. So that's what I'm taking.
Awesome. And that was a great way to answer and a great way to end it. Thank you, Sarah, for taking.
Mhm.
And I have to say it. Congratulations on being engaged.
Thanks.
Of course.